I'm Grant Adlam, and welcome to Coffee with Grant and KZN Top Business. Today we're having a discussion about Quantum.Silver. So from your point of view, introduce yourself maybe and your how this came into your life and what was your experience with it?
So, Barnett Beersteker, I reside in the Western Cape, linked up with a company called Lionel's Veterinary Supplies, been in the veterinary wholesale industry for the last 25 years. And the specific role is to look after the poultry and the pig side of the business. And we earlier this year in 2022, we met Dr. Thomas Volker, and he introduced us to Quantum.Silver. And we saw an opportunity to use the product in our industry based on a few success stories that they had in the past. And that was enough to spark my interest. As per usual, I was skeptical going into it because there's a lot of, in our industry, unfortunately, fly-by-nights who latches onto a product and they think it's going to boom and it's going to be a success story and everybody's going to retire. And that's how I went into the meeting. The first 5 minutes was enough to know that this is not just a fly-by-night and just another product off the shelf. And we ensued and had further discussions, and right then made plans to also introduce it into specific areas in our operations. I'm not directly involved in the dairy operations, but the calf rearing facilities, they were the first to adopt the use of Quantum.Silver for specific issues that they had. And that's where the success stories then rolled out. And subsequent to that, we then discussed distribution scenarios and where we want to get involved with and how we want to take it further.
Okay, so then from that introduction, then there was a point when you actually had to use it on yourself, and that sort of changed things. Fill us in on that side of it.
So I'm a firm believer in using stuff that's natural. I have always been leaning towards green stuff, and I like things that's not normal. Sometimes making life difficult for myself to achieve a certain goal and to get to a certain point where things work. And when Quantum.Silver came along, I basically classed it in that category where it's a positive product. It's going to do something and possibly solve issues and problems that is part of everyday life. So I got sick with a dreaded disease earlier this year. I contracted COVID-19, and I was vaccinated. I jumped through all the hoops to try and avoid it. And in the latter part of Feb, early March, I got sick, and quite badly. It's taken me 2 weeks. I was housebound for 2 weeks, and took a long time to get rid of the normal symptoms that everybody was moaning about: the headaches and the body ache, the fever. It was interesting that you could almost predict what is going to happen after 3 days in, at what time in the day. So it will always get worse in the afternoons from after lunchtime, and then it will spike up until 11 o'clock and then ease out throughout the night. So 2 weeks of that, and as per everybody else doing it as well, you're looking for things, but there's nothing that you can get off the shelf. I went to the doctor, and I was a little bit in denial, didn't think I have it, until he said, look, just do a rapid test. So the doctor did give me antibiotics, but it didn't bring much relief. That's just a blanket antibiotic that they sort of seem to have issued at the time. So went to the normal GP, which we've been going to for the last probably 17 years. And we have a good relationship with him. But there was nothing that he could prescribe other than vitamin C and rest to get rid of it. So after the obvious symptoms have subsided and normal life had to resume, the fatigue set in. And I was always frowning upon the people in the industry and colleagues of mine that's got this fatigue, because we live a very fast-paced life. I mean, our mornings on a regular basis start from just after 4 o'clock. And being in sales, you don't switch off. So at 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock at night, that's when you catch up on your admin for the day and prepare for the next day. And I realized that fast pace is not, you can't keep up with it. It's not sustainable. And I took a step back, and in that time period, I've already met Thomas, and we had a meeting when it was safe for us to meet in person in Cape Town at our head office. And he said, look, that one morning, here's a 500 ml. With this fatigue, take it. You've got nothing to lose. And let me know what the results are. And right then, I opened the cap and I took 30 mils. And I said to him, look, I'm going to do it. I'll finish it and we see what the results were. Now, the fatigue was so bad that I travel quite a bit. I reside in Cape Town. So when I'm here, an average day to drive 400 to 500 kilometers is not unusual. And I could hardly drive 80 kilometers without having to stop and actually rest. It's not that I wanted to fall asleep. You don't have the energy to hold on to the steering wheel. So that's where he then made contact and gave me the 500 mils in that time period, which was about 2 weeks after I sufficiently recovered according to the laws at the time, the 7 days and then 15 days after that. I took a little bit longer, housebound, like I said, for about 2 weeks. That was on a Friday. So took it on a Friday, Monday morning, got up, and obviously I didn't go away overnight. But after 3 weeks, I finished the 500 mils. I realized that life is sort of normal again. And I phoned Thomas. I said, you know what, it's worked. And I can say we're very in tune with making changes. Being in the industry where we work with animals, we work with medicine and the application thereof, and a lot of health challenges in the pig and poultry industry, we're very in tune with changes that we make, be it environmental or medication that we administer to the animals to either aid them or to assist them or to build up the immune system. So I could honestly say to him that the only thing that I've done differently was use Quantum.Silver. And then it came back full circle. Everything that I believed in before with the natural stuff that's not harmful, not chemically manufactured and induced, that you put chemicals in your body, it made a lot of sense, came full circle, and it cured me. And then after that, our daughter, she's still young, she got sick at school. At the time, the school told us that there's about 7 viruses running around, and that's doing the round. So when she fell ill, it was just a head cold at the time. We immediately used Quantum.Silver, orally as well as a nose spray. After 4 days, she was fine to go back to school. And that's how we live life now. I do sometimes forget to take you and Ari, and you rush out, but it is part of our daily routine. So I'm very grateful that I met Thomas, and Thomas made the suggestion. And it's a great selling tool, because I try and with Thomas and the team break into the animal health sector. It is a difficult mindset change, specifically for veterinarians. But I mean, if it works for humans and it works so quickly, and we've got success stories as well, we don't see why this shouldn't be a mainstream problem. Long-term goals is to expand it, because we sit with a situation in South Africa and not only in South Africa, internationally, where antibiotics has been used and overused for so many years. So much so that in South Africa, certain antibiotics is not effective when administered to humans. Now, antibiotics is in a group of their own, where there is only so many antibiotics. It's not as if there's new antibiotics being added to the group. So if you lose a certain strain or a certain antibiotic that you can use, that's gone. And we take that out of the equation. So GPs can't prescribe that anymore. Going forward, somewhere along the line, the bottom's going to fall out, and there's going to be no answers to making people to heal people. So the future is definitely the green stuff, and Quantum.Silver with what it's done. And yes, we don't know everything about Quantum.Silver at this point in time, but we know enough. We know how to administer it, and we can sort of put timelines to it now, and how to use it, when to use it. Best would be prophylactically. So that's our message to our clients and to the people that I rub shoulders with. I'm very careful not to go and enforce it, because it is a touchy subject for some. But it's a positive message, and I'm glad to share my story and my own experience with Quantum.Silver specifically.
Warwick, that's an incredible story. I couldn't butt in there, because I mean, you're so passionate about what it does. I mean, you just spelt it out exactly what it is. And I've spoken to a number of people who are in the same boat as you are. They just said, Quantum.Silver, go forward, use it. You can't OD on it. It's just good for you. It's natural. It's everything that you need. So carry on using it.
No, for sure. But thank you for the platform. I think it's a great way to get the message out there. And it would be nice one day to walk into a mainstream pharmacy and see it on the shelf.
Yeah, absolutely.
It would be better if we get the buy-in of the GPs and on my side the veterinarians as well. I maybe think it's look, as South Africans, we're very skeptical of a new thing. And like I mentioned to you in the outset of the discussion, I went into the initial meeting thinking that this is just another fly-by-night possibly. But the sun shines on us all, and we all need a equal opportunity with whatever we endeavor. So that was my outlook on it. And yeah, I mean, Thomas made, Dr. Volker made good on his promises and his claims, and a product works.
Never are, but I know that it works. You know that it works, and it's from people like yourselves who've used it firsthand. Those are the stories that people want to hear. You know, the fact is that you can't OD, you must take more, and all these things are relevant, and it's natural. That is good for you. So, you know, it's, as you say, it's almost good to be true. But the good old saying, if it's too good to be true, it normally is. But in this case, it doesn't seem to be that way.
In this case, not. And that's a saying that I always use. It's when in doubt, leave it out. Not in this case.
Precisely, yeah.
We need to get the word out there and get more people to listen to these type of discussions.
Yeah.
And to buy into the concept and the product and believe in it.
Yeah. Anyway, Warwick, thank you very much for joining me on Coffee with Grant. And I'm definitely going to get in touch with you just to pick your brains on another webinar at one stage. And maybe we can get a couple of people on a panel together and just explore it with various people with various intakes on the same product. So
looking forward to it. Thank you.
Thanks a million.